Well, apparently I didn't hit unmute after I coughed to begin this, so I will cut that out when I edit this. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our 2025 pre-camp leader meeting for Rhodes France Scout Reservation. Glad to have you all with us this evening. By way of just introductions for those of us that are on the call tonight, myself, I'm Matt Kaufman. I serve as the camping director for the Greater St. Louis Area Council. In that role, I oversee our summer camps on the Scouts BSA and venturing side. With us tonight, we have our camp director for Rhodes, France, Sharon Renfro. She's just going to wave to you. All right. And our program director, Blake Girdner. Both are returning for second summer in that same role. We're very happy to have them on board again. If you want to take a moment to screenshot or take a quick picture of that contact information on the screen, feel free to before I go on to the next slide. Just a couple of reminders for you. You should see a Q&A function in your Zoom menu that you can use to submit questions as we go throughout the information tonight for you. If at any point you do have questions, just drop it in there. But also remember you can reach out to us or our council help desk at help@stlbsa.org at any time, and some of our support staff will get it. If it's not one that they're familiar enough with, they forward it on to me so that we can get you answered as quickly as possible. Going to assume you have had a moment to grab that info off the screen. If not, let us know and we can go back to it later on for you to grab as well. Next, I do want to just make sure that you are all very aware of the 2025 Leaders Guide that is available. Has been out since December. The QR code on the screen will take you right to it on our council website. That'll actually open up a PDF version of it you could download to have at any point. There are that and other resources all available on our website, which is going to be at stlbsa.org/camps. From there, I would suggest clicking on the Scouts BSA and Venturing site. There'll be a red button there that you can click on. It'll take you to more direct information just specified to these programs. That's where you'll see links to the leader guides for all of our summer camps, as well as additional information, a resources menu near the top of the page that'll have a lot of the forms that we will talk about this evening. So just want you to be aware of those resources to help you answer questions and help prepare your scouts and leaders for camp. As we get underway this evening, it's important just to cover a few dates that are coming up in the very near future. The first one, just under a month away now, we have our Early Bird Savings Day or Camper Savings. You'll hear it called different things. And that date being April 15th is the date that if you are paid in full for summer camp by that date, you'll receive that $20 discounted rate that's mentioned in the leader guide. If you have a new scout, one that has joined February 1st or later, make sure in the registration system that they are registered as a new scout. It'll give you that option of either just Scouts BSA Youth or New Scout. If you choose that New Scout option, they will get that lower rate no matter when they register and when they pay. That way, we're not penalizing those that just recently joined, just crossed over, and the like. Um, for the one quick question on that, so that is on or before. So it will go through midnight on April 15th. And since Casey asked this question very directly, I'll give you a little sneak peek here. Technically, it's also going to run through the 16th. We have a all staff meeting for our council staff on the 15th. We know there could be issues as you're trying to get those final payments in. We're going to leave good instruction with anyone answering the phones that day. However, we know that it might take us until the next day to get some of those questions answered. So it'll actually go through 11:59 p.m. on April 16th. So if you're running a little behind, don't panic too much on that one. Excuse me. The second one there is May 15th, the campership application deadline. That one is for anyone that might need financial assistance to attend camp. We obviously don't want that to be a limiting factor for someone to get their summer camp experience. So we have quite a robust fund in our council to help you provide opportunities for those scouts. There are multiple ways they can find that application. One is on that resources menu that I talked about earlier on our website. The other that is, it is linked in the leader guide, but also once you are registering a scout, it will have a checkbox in their information that they can check that they're applying for a campership, and then that system will kind of talk together. It'll pop up with the link for the form if it's not been filled out yet. One thing when applying for camperships that I do want to mention, make sure that the name and address for that scout applying matches exactly in their registration and what is put on the campership application. So the registration for camp and application need to match. The system then automatically checks for those applications, applies a temporary discount until it's approved, and then it will apply the actual campership at the end. So a couple questions on early bird fees and things that I want to mention or answer real quick before I hit that last note on the page. The early bird fee only applies to the registration fee, not any additional class fees. So if you have class fees that are not paid in full by that April 15th date, that won't affect the overall payment. That will still get the lower rate, and then you'll just clean up the class fees on the back end. And then, yes, the campership application is for those Greater St. Louis Area Council Scouts only. Um, some, but not very many councils have some kind of discount available or program available if you're going out of council, but it is rather few. So unfortunately, we don't have that for those coming from outside of our council. That is part of why we are insistent every year of not charging those coming from out of council a different cost to attend summer camp with us. They're already paying the extra travel and all. We don't want to tack on extra fees to them just because they're coming from a different council. The last date you'll see on the screen there is May 31st. Payments due, or sorry, the cost does go up another $10 if someone is not paid by the end of the day on May 31st. We do as much purchasing in bulk as we can. When we have those later payments, later add-ons and things, sometimes we incur higher costs to get materials and things that we need for camp. So that is why that is there to encourage everyone to have it in as early as possible. Next thing, also on the fees, there are no late fees for leaders at all. So the leader fee is what it is, no matter when it is paid. So don't worry about that on leaders. Just do make sure that they are taken care of before arrival at camp. In the leader guide, there's a full page explaining the refund policy of our Greater St. Louis Area Council summer camps. Um, so you can also find the refund request form by scanning that QR code, looking on the resources menu, or it was also linked in the leader guide. So multiple spots that you can get to that refund request form if you need it. Going to mention a couple of high level points on the refund policy for this year because there were a few changes. Um, First thing that we want to make sure you're aware of, if you have any completely unpaid or youth spots that are not assigned a name in your registration come that April 15th date, we're going to go in and just clear those spots off your registration. We have had several units that will show up at camp and then drop off like 10 people that they never actually intended to bring to camp. They just had these extra spots hanging out there. So we're going to clear them off on April 15th if that is the case. You can always then add spots in still. That's perfectly fine. This won't affect your ability to do that. It just gives us a better, more accurate count earlier so that as we continue to plan, prepare program supplies, prepare staff, we have a better count. With the refunds, all requests that should be made prior or any request made more than 30 days before camp essentially is going to be approved minus a 10% processing fee, which actually applies to any refund that is granted. And then any that are within 30 days of camp, those are only going to be granted in case of the extenuating circumstances that are listed in the policy. Things such as um, a death in the immediate family, an illness, a school commitment that cannot be missed. Things like that are listed in that policy. And those that are made, refund requests that are made after May 31st are only eligible for up to 75% of that refund. So just a couple different changes um, throughout that policy. So make sure if you're have been coming to our camps for quite a while, you read through that and make sure you understand it well. All right. This one is much more fun than talking about refunds. This you will see on the screen is the 2025 summer, what we call the summer camp shirt for Rhodes France Scout Reservation. Pre-orders are available for those now through the end of April, April 28th. We will turn off the pre-order option and then just have them available at camp at the trading post. New for this year, we do have it arranged where you can order your shirts online and have them available for pickup at camp when you arrive. We can have those available in the trading post for you to go pick up. So whether you order individually or maybe you want to buy for the whole troop, you can do that, and they'll be available when you arrive, already packaged up and ready for you. We weren't able to do that in the past, so it had always been pre-orders where you were paying shipping on it. But we worked it out this year to be able to do it to where we got the system to work right, and you can do that order and have it on ready for pickup. All right. Next thing I'm going to cover, and then I do promise I will let Sharon and Blake talk through all the program stuff here as we get to it. But I've got a couple more just kind of general camp things that they would much prefer I talk about than they have to do it. So there's a few steps that we want to remind you about to take care of on your registration between now and when camp begins. The first, and I've already kind of alluded to it, making sure your numbers are accurate. This helps us so much to have good counts as early as possible. We know they're always going to fluctuate a little bit as you get closer to camp. We hope those are numbers going up as you add additional people onto your registration. And you can do that basically up until the time you come to camp. You can go into your registration. There's that gray additional actions button that you can, it's a drop down menu. You can click add registrants or add participants. The other thing that you can do by scanning that QR code there or finding the link in our resources menu is request us to delete spots that are not needed. If you have blank spots or ones that you had kept in your estimate, but now you know you don't need, fill out that quick form and we will remove those from the registration at any time. If you have someone that has paid money, that would then either be a refund request or you can request to remove that person and then just apply that money to your general balance due for the entire unit coming to camp. Make sure that you have names assigned to all of the spots that you have reserved, youth and adult spots, so that they're not just sitting there blank. Make sure you're registering all of your adults, both those that are going to attend the full week or any part-time leaders that you might have. So you can have people that come in just for a day or two, and that would be a part-time adult where they could just pay for the days that they're going to be there. Full-time can also be like shared between two people. So if you have, say, Blake was going to be there from Sunday through Wednesday, but then Sharon was going to relieve him on Wednesday at some point and be there Thursday through the end of the week, you could use one full week adult spot for that. The cost is the same whether you do it with paying individually days or pay for the whole week. If there's someone going to be there that whole week, it's easier really to do the full-time spot. Next on here, make sure that you are, and many of you already have been, getting your scouts signed up for classes. And then lastly, submit any special dietary needs that you might have, any allergies or medical restrictions. That will be done through our special dietary need request form. Again, it's a simple online form that they will fill out on our website. Make sure that's done at least 2 weeks prior to you arriving at camp so that our food service staff has plenty of time to acquire the necessary replacements or plan, or in the rare case that it is a restriction that is so extreme that we cannot safely provide it, then we can communicate that back to the parents and arrange for storage space, prep space as needed for those. Before I go on, we've got a couple questions here. Let me see. The cost of the part-time leader. So that is if they are going to be there each day. I have to look. I don't remember the exact cost, but it is broken out among the whole day or the whole week. It will equal $135 if they're there that whole time. I just don't remember the exact breakdown of how much it is per day. The Sunday and Saturday are a little bit less, and then Monday through Friday are the same. That is on the online system, and we could maybe find it before the end of the meeting here to share with you as well. Let's see, the other is three scouts attending summer camp with us from another troop. Is there anything extra? No. If you do have someone that is attending you from another troop, as long as you're okay with their blue cards saying your troop number at the end of the week or the electronic records, you don't have to do anything different with them. But that's the one thing it'll do is put the same troop number on all of them within that registration. Nothing else special that you would need to do for those scouts. All right. Next up, just on additional information, a week or two before summer camp gets here, you're going to receive or the registration contact for your troop. So that person that's listed on the registration as the contact will receive a simple form to fill in to just prepare the camp a little bit more for finer details that we don't really need until then. So just be on the lookout for that. Make sure it gets answered in a fairly quick manner so that they are all well prepared for your arrival at camp. Then next, I'm going to throw to either Sharon or Blake, but probably Sharon from the looks of it, to just cover a little bit about what your arrival and check-in process will be once you arrive at camp.
Absolutely. So, like Matt just said, you'll be hearing from us about 2 weeks out from camp, and that email will have lots of information about your site and about the process for the day. But in general, check-in starts at about 1 o'clock at Rhodes, France, and we would ask that you do your best to have all of your scouts and your adult participants there with you when you check in. We have a building, our registration building is right off the edge of our parking lot, and we would ask that the scoutmaster or a couple of the registered leaders come to that building to meet. It'll probably be me, possibly Blake sitting there. You'll have your med forms with you, your information about who is there, if anybody's arriving late, information about that. If you've done your swim checks ahead of time, which we'll cover again later, I believe, but that's always a good idea because it's a time saver at check-in. You'll bring those papers with you to me as well. And please do note that you need to have the instructor that does the swim test, their credentials attached to those so that our aquatics director can review them. The other thing that you'll want to have with you at that time is any release forms. So, like our range and target activity release forms, that's a great idea to drop off to us. Once you come see us at that booth, we will get you a site guide who's going to give you a quick tour. They're going to take all of your scouts to do med checks. They're going to take you to our dining hall to sort of make sure everybody knows the process there. We'll make a quick stop at the range and then get everybody back to the site together. One truck and one trailer is the ideal that we like to stick to, going back at the same time as your scouts go back. It's easy if we can get everybody going at the same time for safety on the road. Once a car goes back there, it will stay until our registration day is over. Anything else, Matt, that you think we need to cover for that part?
Nope, I think that's good, unless you want to cover that question that just popped in real quick.
So, Bill, if you want to send an email to me, we can work on seeing if we can make that happen for you. We do have a little bit of flexibility. Our staff does not arrive at camp until shortly before our registration process opens. But if there's extenuating circumstances, we'd be happy to try and make that work for you.
All right. So we will a couple other good questions here. Two troops staying in the same campsite. So that Sharon was talking about as far as one truck, one troop, or one trailer, that's per troop. So if they're shared among a campsite, that's going to apply for both troops. They'll both be able to do that. And then we have good areas at the campsites for both to be able to fit. And then the other trailer stays and vehicle pulling trailer at camp. Do you guys? I honestly don't remember. Do the trucks
Yeah.
come back out?
So, Steve, ideally, the truck that's attached to the trailer will stay at the site. We do understand if there's a leader who needs to be able to have that truck, we'll work with you to get it out safely. We usually ask for you to wait till during a meal time, and our ranger and our commissioners will work with you to make that happen if it needs to come back up front.
Okay, good deal. So if you have other questions, keep throwing them in there and we can circle back to them at the end for sure. I want to go ahead and cover some information regarding the Scouting America annual health and medical record, which I'm sure all of you are very familiar with. Um, just one quick reminder uh, that everyone that's attending camp must have that annual health and medical record. It needs to be on that form, the one that you can see pictured on the screen. We are not permitted for national standards to have another physical form attached to it. We are supposed to have it on the actual scouting form. A couple quick reminders on that. If you are going to only be there under 72 hours, which in most cases would be some part-time adults, then you only need parts A and B of that form. Anyone else that's going to be there more than that amount of time, they do need parts A, B, and then C. A and B are like informed consent and then health history. Part C is the actual physical examination. So that part is signed by a doctor or the other positions that are listed on there in the medical field that are allowed to do that. Um, Make sure that they are complete within the last 12 months of your date, the last day that you're going to be at camp. And when I say the last day, I just mean if it was done, for an example, they are good for a year to the end of the month, basically a year after they were held. So if you had a physical that was completed and on the form last year, June 15th, that is good through the end of June this year. So they're good for a full 12 months plus whatever gets them to the end of the month. So make sure that you may have scouts or adults that did a physical right in the beginning of June last year. It would still be good this year attending in June. And make sure that you are collecting these and looking them over before camp, checking them for completion well before you leave wherever you're traveling from, so you can track down any issues ahead of time. I know a lot of units now have a binder that they'll put them in, etc. Just make sure that you've taken some time to look over them. There's several things that often are overlooked as far as signatures, allergies, and the like, and those all need to be on there. It's really important, especially if we do have a scout that has an injury or something that they need to go in and see someone at the local hospital or emergency services. That is the first thing that they're going to be looking at to help gather that health history. New this year, and I'll just pop up the three little talking points on this, is a parental release form. So this is going to have to be completed for all scouts. So anyone under the age of 18 attending camp must have this form signed by their parents and turned in upon arrival through the check-in process at camp. You can collect these now. That's perfectly fine. Get them done early, have them all together, and then turn them in when you get there. Again, required for all of the youth attending. So, several of the national standards for camping for our long-term camp programs need to have parental permission to take part in them, especially any of the range and target activities, but also others that are throughout. So making sure that we have now created a form that will cover that. Um, so this form will do that. So this actually eliminates the need for any additional form for any additional program because we've covered it. So like under range and target activities, you'll notice that Cowboy Action Shoot is listed there, and any other specialty programs are going to be covered because we listed anything that they might do. So it's all going to be covered on one form and required for all of the scouts. So make sure that you are taking care of that because it is a new one this year. A couple questions regarding med forms before I move on to pre-camp swim check talk and then turn it over to Sharon and Blake. One, the immunization record, it can be attached if that is where their record is. That's okay instead of writing it in at the bottom. One thing I very, very much discourage, don't simply write up to date on that vaccine section if you are listing that. The one, if you've ever read through that form, there is one that is absolutely 100% required, and that is the tetanus one. And that's good within 10 years. So just make sure that you have that date on there for tetanus. But yeah, an attached list of immunizations is okay. And then meds for scouts. Um, so Sharon, oh, you've already flagged it to answer. I'll let you answer it right now though, because it'll fit in well before we move on.
Awesome. So with meds, they either need to be checked in with our med officer and kept stored safely in our medical office, or they can be stored under lock and key with leadership of the unit. And each unit has different ways that they handle that. If you're unsure of what that might look like for your unit, you are welcome to email me and we can get you in contact with our med officer to discuss that. But you do not have to turn them in to us. It is just an option for you to be able to keep them secured safely while at camp. And so no matter what way you choose, we just need them to be under lock and key.
All right. Moving in, we'll talk, and Sharon hit on this a little bit a moment ago, that we will talk, just explain the process for pre-camp swim checks. They are strongly encouraged. It helps you speed up your check-in day. It just kind of makes that day a little bit more enjoyable than having to go to the pool and swim, and then the kids are tired and they're wet and they're exhausted. Anyways, um, the way to use that would be on the official Scouting America swim classification record, which we do have linked on the registration page. I think it's on the resources menu, or honestly, you can just type Scout Swim Record and it will pop up. So that is not an issue there if you do it if you just Google it and find the form. The test for the swim test does need to be administered by a qualified lifeguard. So certified lifeguard, either BSA lifeguard, which is unfortunately going away after the end of last year. It's getting or being phased out. Red Cross, the Y, wherever else has certified lifeguards, they can do that. Or if you have an adult who has completed the Scouting Aquatic Supervision Swimming and Water Rescue course, that person can also administer that swim test. The form will get turned in at camp. And just as a reminder, we don't run into it a whole lot at Rhodes, France because they're also swimming in a pool. Many people do the swim test before camp in a pool. Sometimes when they're swimming in a lake, they freak out a little bit and don't swim as well. But if any of the aquatic staff do see that a scout may not seem to be at the classification that was on that form, they're going to retest them just to make sure that they are being safe and that they are actually at the ability level that that form says. Again, that form very easy to find online. The second page of the form walks through the steps of the swim test. So if you're not familiar with what the distances are and all of that, it's on that form. All right. Now more. I already said that. All right. Now more on to the fun stuff. I will turn to Blake and Sharon, and I don't actually have a slide for the first thing, but they're going to cover some highlights to the merit badge programs to start, and then we'll move on from there.
Hi. I get the opportunity to talk about a couple of things here, but one great thing that just now I believe is brand new this year that Matt has put together is the program guide, and it is also out there and available online. And he did a phenomenal job on it. It's a great document, and it's got pretty much all the information I'm going to say on here as well. So if you have time afterwards, or if you have more questions about some more of our programs, be sure to check the program guide. It looks great, and it might have the answer. So, first and foremost, in the merit badge program, our schedule looks pretty similar in how we're going to run the classes. We are going to bring in some newer classes. We're working through our rotation again. One of them is metalworking, and that will be taught probably at STEAM, where we usually have our classes like that. But we will also be opening up an hour block time in the afternoon, right at that last period of the day, and that's going to be our open programming period. So in the program guide, it'll mention this as well, but it's time for makeup, merit badge work, service projects in different areas, and some other activities that we'll have going on in each area. That's really all I have for the actual merit badge program. So I will go right into the Wayfinder program. Matt's the one running the slide, so I kind of got to wait on him. So, if you haven't been here before, the Wayfinder program is our first year camper program, and it's a rank requirement class. So, we're going to cover the requirements in the book. We're going to show you as leaders what they have accomplished throughout the week with a document signed by our Wayfinder staff that says, this is what they've done. These are the requirements that they've met, and it's signed by our staff so that you know. And we offer sessions, as it says up there, in Scout and Tenderfoot, second class, and first class. The other program that we have, relatively similar. Matt, could you move down 2 slides real quick? Is our Apex program. So this is our flexible program for our older scouts. We have something different every day, and it's just to kind of give them that camp experience. If they've taken the merit badges they're interested in, and they're thinking, well, I really want to be at camp. I love camp. I might not be old enough or ready to feel like I can sign up for staff or anything like that. We offer this program for them to be able to come to camp, have a great time, possibly make some new friends, and just offer a couple different unique experiences. So there currently is not. I don't know where I was going with that. Actually, I'm not going to lie to you. So there is no additional fee to that, and we are going to talk, or we are in the works of 2 outings for the week. One of them we are finalizing right now, and the other one, very similar to last year, is with the Illinois State Police, and we are super excited to be able to work with them again. We had really good feedback from anybody that went the last time, and we're excited to be able to offer it again. And I am going to turn it over to Sharon to talk about Family Night.
So on Wednesdays at Rhodes, France, we have our OA call out ceremony, and we also welcome all of our families to join us. Guests can arrive anytime after 5 that night. And we do ask that they check in at that same building where your troop checks in when you arrive at camp. We will have tour guides to get them back to the sites where you're at. They have a couple options for dinner. A lot of troops choose to do a potluck at their site that night. During the week, sometime Monday or Tuesday, we'll start asking if your troop is going to be eating in the dining hall that night. You are, of course, welcome to eat with us in the dining hall. Your guests can join us, and we do have guest meal tickets for sale in the trading post on Wednesday starting at 5. Well, I think they sell them all day Wednesday, and you could purchase them earlier as well. But if you choose to have a potluck, some troops bring in pizza. We can work with you to set up a spot that will accommodate all of your guests. We've had people set up front for potluck ease. We will help your guests get back to your site. We have some limited transportation for people with mobility issues that is available as well. And then at the end of the evening, we do at 8:15 have our OA call out, and then we will say goodbye to your guests before you head back to your campsites. All right. So, in addition to all of our merit badges and our open programming time, we have several specialty programs. This year, for the first time, we are offering the NRA First Steps Pistol Program at Rhodes, France. Super exciting that we get to offer that program through BSA. And that will be with our range staff and several volunteers that come in that are NRA certified. And they'll help the youth that are eligible for that program walk through that entire First Steps Pistol Program. And they will leave with the NRA books that come with that. We also do the Baden-Powell Award throughout the week. There's several different requirements to it. A couple of them are those service projects that you heard Blake talk about. There'll be opportunities to help around camp, to do nature-based environmental projects for anybody who needs those for rank advancement as well. And then one of the things that is in our Baden-Powell at Rhodes, France is a camp gadget. And so we would encourage you to talk to your youth about starting to plan that now. We've had everything from real simple clotheslines to very large cooking structures built. And we will come around and our commissioner will come around and take pictures of those, and we always get a kick out of seeing what they are and sharing them on our social media as well. We will offer some leader training in addition to all of the other programming we have for leaders during the week. We do lots of fun activities. We really believe that you guys are giving up that 1 hour a week and coming and joining us for your week of vacation. And so we want to give back to the leaders who come as well. And so lots of fun things for them. But we also offer some of that leader training that can be a little bit difficult to get unless you're in a setting where there's a bunch of scouts together. So ILS will be offered probably on Wednesdays and Thursdays this week. And then we will have position specific training as well.
All right, I'm going to jump in and do one, and then I'll toss it back to them to finish any other program things that they want to talk about. You will notice as some of the scouts sign up for classes, there might be a fee associated with that class. And what that does is simply cover anything that might be an extra cost above and beyond what all the other scouts might be doing. So think of shotgun ammunition and clays that runs a lot higher than others. Um, Basketry kits, leatherwork kits, space exploration, the rocket kits, whatever else it might be, the arrow that they need to do for archery. All of those are what that program or that class fee covers, and you will receive, your scouts will receive those kits on Monday when they first go to camp or class. So they don't have to try to remember to do that ahead of time or run to the trading post because they forgot. They will be in that program area for them when they get there with their first class. So if you were curious or have parents wondering what those class fees are, those are the type of things that they cover. Just those kits that the scouts will get and be able to take with them, or in like the one other case being the shotgun merit badge, just the extra cost of ammunition and target supplies that are needed there.
So for our additional program section, we offer open swimming and boating. This is a blocked out time that it'll be on the master schedules for you. That's going to say what days we offer this and where we're offering it. Uh, your open programs, I've talked a little bit about already, and competitions. So we do offer a couple different competitions. We offer the Youth and Leader Rifle Awards. So best scores throughout the week will be given awards for it. And then archery has one as well. And then we have one for our battle boats competition. In terms of evening programs, our evening programs look somewhat similar. We are offering something every night. It might not be as intense and as required for people to attend, but we will be offering something for you every night to be there if you want to, or if you want to be able to just enjoy being at camp and spending that evening, spending time with your units and things like that. We're going to have that as well.
I'm going to hop in here and answer Steve's question. He asked if skilled merit badge counselors could be utilized to assist stations. Yes, Steve, the answer to that is absolutely. Actually, at flags every morning, you will hear our staff saying, hey, we need the following help with these things over the next couple of days. And then if you have something that you really like to help with, I would love for you to email me or Blake, and we can get you connected with that staff ahead of time. But also throughout the week, we will be asking for help with our fish fry and our astronomy party and all sorts of other things as well. Any of those merit badges that tend to have young scouts in them, so wood carving, first aid, we often will say we would like 2 or 3 adults that are willing to volunteer their time a couple days this week to come and sit and help in those classes. The more hands there are, usually the smoother things run. Blake, did you see Bill's question about battle boats? You want to take that one?
I did. I will take that really quickly. So, Battle Boats competition is a competition that we do um, every year so far, at least since about 2021, I think we've done it every year. And it's a very simple competition that is a requirement of two swimmers. So they have to pass the swim test in order to be able to be a part of this, just for the safety purposes of it. But we're gonna put PFDs on them. We're gonna tie two rowboats together and hand you buckets. And the rowboats don't actually, but there is a sunk to the rowboat, so they're gonna bail water from the lake into the other team's boat until they're sunk. And it's a really fun experience, and I've only ever heard good things about it. It's very loved. So yeah, that is what the battle boats competition is.
Yeah, and if because the one most unfortunate time he could have cut out a little bit on my end anyways, the boats don't actually fully sink all the way. But that kind of cut out when he said that, and I wanted to make sure everyone understood that before I start getting emails.
Thank you.
So um, you can continue to ask some questions there. I'm going to hit on. Did you guys have any other program items you wanted to hit? I think you got them all. Okay. So Blake mentioned the program guide, and shame on me for not remembering to mention it earlier. It was emailed out yesterday to the registration contact for the troop. It's also in the attachments section of the registration page for Rhodes France Summer Camp this year. So you can view that online and see all of the more detailed information about the programs that will be happening. That's a new document for us this year, but we realized if we put all of that into the leader guide first. We publish the leader guide in December 1st each year. Sometimes these things aren't fleshed out quite. Even now, the staff, once they're together more and more prepping for the summer, they may add things or change things a little bit. Um, so we wanted to give something after the first of the year, give them a little bit more time, and give you more information. So that is why that program guide exists this year, and I'm glad Blake remembered to mention it. So staff opportunities this summer, while I will say currently Rhodes France has a full staff, they have everyone that they have or have filled all the spots that they have. So assuming that everyone accepts their contracts, that staff is full and ready to roll. Um, a few of our other camps do have some opportunities still available. On the Cub Scout side, Camp May, they're at Beaumont Scout Reservation for their Cub Scout overnight camp programs, along with a couple other things that they do. There are still a few spots available there. Um, the couple that we are really looking for in depth, one at Camp Llewellyn is a at least 21-year-old to be our climbing and apex director at that camp. Although I did see that posted on a page that's quite widely shared today, so we may find some candidates there. And then there are a few other positions, mainly that require at least 18-year-olds, also at SBRF Scout Ranch. There's a couple commissioner spots available, or at least one. There's a couple aquatic staff spots that you have to be at least 16 for. And then I am still looking for a wrangler, a lead person to lead our horse program at SBRF this summer as well. We've got like a part-time helper, but we need someone to be the spearhead for that. So if you know of anyone that might still be looking for something to do this summer, direct them to us at our website there. If you go to the stlbsa.org/camps and they click on the work at our camp spot, they can find our online camp staff application and we'll take it from there once they have applied. All right.
Matt, can I jump in and add? Rhodes
Absolutely.
does have a CIT program, which is staff that are 14 years old. It is a volunteer position. However, they do get the benefit of having all of the time at camp to enjoy all the camp activities. They can work on some merit badges, but they also are able to get that experience of being trained with our staff. And we have some CITs that stay all summer with us, some that can just do a week or two. It is an interviewed position, and they would apply in that same place as they would for a regular staff job.
All right. So I apologize. Also, this one picture is not from Rhodes, France, but that happens sometimes. It was still a cool picture. If you have any other questions, feel free to go ahead and submit those at this time, and we'll kind of keep an eye on it for just a moment before we start wrapping things up. Normally, what happens is I say I don't see any other questions, and then two or three pop in. It didn't work tonight, though. Well, that's good. I'm hoping that that means we've answered. Oh, there. See, that's what usually happens. No, if you don't plan on getting in the water, you would not need that. I'm sorry, Sharon. I saw that you grabbed that and I answered it anyways. You wouldn't have to have a swim check if you're not going to get in the water at all. That's just for those that plan on taking part in the aquatics activities.
The one thing I would say is a lot of leaders say, "Oh, I'm not going to swim," and then they find out there's a leader swim where there's no youth in the pool. So if you think that you might like to participate in that, I would encourage you to still get your swim test done.
There is also a belly flop competition, just so we're clear. That does require you to pass the swim test, but the belly flop competition as well.
So Casey is either very excited about the belly flop or the adult only swim. It was a little hard to tell based on when that comment came in. So could one of you explain kind of how the times for open swimming and boating work, and then also that leader free swim?
Yeah, so the times for open swimming and boating are going to stay during that 3 to 5 o'clock block every day. We'll also offer the mile swim right after that, and there's really good information about that in the program guide as well for those that want to take part in the mile swim or have youth that want to take part in the mile swim. But those open swimming and boating times, we're going to have a couple times. We're going to have it almost every day of the week, and it's going to be 3 to 5. There will be one day where that will be a little different, but we will also try to. We also are looking to offer a night swim as well for those units that have other things that they want to do during that 3 to 5 block. We're looking at offering a night swim as well.
The one thing I would add to that is we do have that trial where we're doing the 4 to 5 of open time for the youth to be able to do what they want to do to make up merit badge work or to do open boating and open swimming. But please note that 3 to 4 is a merit badge time. And if you have a youth who really cares about being able to boat every day and swim every day, and they don't so much care about taking merit badges, I would encourage you to allow them to do that because often what we see is that they skip that 3 o'clock merit badge because they are going to go swim and they're going to do it anyway. So if you have a scout that is really their primary focus, I would encourage you to think about whether they really need to pack their day with merit badges.
As for the later swim time, this will be it will be over a lunch period, a little earlier in the week, I believe, and it's over a lunch period. Our staff will all be in the dining hall to manage all of the units that are in there to get things taken care of. But that is to offer the leaders a chance that we're gonna bring lunch out to you, sit outside by the pool and chat in the relative quiet, or go in enjoy the water. It's more than likely going to be a nice warm day when we do it. Knock on wood for that one, real quick. But yeah, so that's the leader swim.
Yep. So that should be Monday, if I remember correctly from the updates. So Sean mentioned in the chat here, or in the Q&A, that I goofed and posted a leader guide that had, or a program guide rather, that had two blanks in it still because I was waiting on feedback, and I forgot that I was still waiting on feedback when I posted it. So that initial link that got emailed out was missing the time and date for, or the day for the leader swim and the day for the fish fry. The fish fry is going to be on Thursday evening. That leader swim on Monday. The program guide that's linked on the registration page, or if you Google 2025 program guide Rhodes France, you should get it as well. Um, we'll have those completed in there. So my apologies for sending that out just a little too early. Sharon, Blake, you guys have a couple flagged there. I'll let you go.
All right, so I'll just go back over for Bill. Leader trainings, we will have IOLS all 3 weeks, and we typically offer position specific one day of each of the weeks as well. I organize IOLS, someone else organizes leaders specific, position specific, so I'm not sure of the day for that, but IOLS will likely be Wednesday and Thursday mornings. And then any of the online trainings that adults can take, we can set up a location for them to do that. So if you have a leader who's new, who maybe needs to take some of those online trainings, we can help with that. And then Blake, were you going to talk about the extra time for merit badges?
Sure, you gonna do you want your other question first or okay. So, for the extra time, we like we've kind of been talking about, we're opening up that 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock block. We are not offering badges during that time. We're going to hold a bunch of the program areas open for different activities, but we will also have our program area staff there the entire time. So if you need time to, you were in the med office today because you didn't drink enough water uh, earlier in the day and it was all slushies, so you missed your merit badge class, then you can come in and you can meet with one of our staff there and try to work through those requirements during that 4 to 5 o'clock block.
Awesome. And then, Steve, you asked about electricity in sites. We do have electricity available in a limited area of camp. If there is something that you need that requires a significant amount of power, if you would shoot me an email so we can talk about that ahead of time, and we can also sort of assess and gauge whether you need to be in one of our sites that has that ability.
All right. Thank you for that. Again, if you do have other questions, doesn't have to stop tonight. We are available to answer those questions as they arise between now and camp. We want you to have a great week with your troop while you were there. So we definitely want to make sure that you're well prepared to help your scouts enjoy their week at Rhodes, France. With that, I am gonna thank Blake and Sharon very much for all of their hard work that they've already been doing to help prepare for camp. They're actually prepping for a staff training event that'll be not this weekend, but next. All kinds of other things as they are doing their prep work. While it seems like a summer gig, there's a lot of hours that they both will put in outside of the summer camp season to help make sure that the staff are ready, camp is ready, and that you guys have an excellent time while you are there. I want to thank you all for taking some time to be with us this evening and go over these important points in your prep for camp. Again, make sure that you're taking full advantage of all the resources that we have out there on the website. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to us. And again, if you don't remember any of our emails or any of our names, even help at stlbsa.org. That is our email address for our help desk, and we will get that through our support staff and make sure that we are helping you out. Reminder that the webinar will get posted online at some point tomorrow. So on the 26th, we'll have it posted online and we'll send you all a link to that so you can share it out with any parents that might want to watch or other leaders that weren't able to be on tonight, whatever else it might be.
I have two things real quick, Matt. Sorry. We do have social media for Rhodes France, a Facebook, which is Rhodes France Scout Reservation, and an Instagram, which is Rhodes France _ SR for Scout Reservation. Both of those we like to post things on, and we will post pictures throughout the week. We will also give you a QR code on your schedule during camp for you to share pictures. It's a really great way for adults to see all the things that happen during the week. So make sure you're looking for those.
Great point. And with that, we will say good evening. We actually wrapped up in pretty good time, so we'll let you get back to your evening tonight. And again, thank you all for attending. And we look forward to seeing you at camp this summer.